We've got a special group of volunteers here, and I'm going to kind of mention everybody's name. Would like them to wave as read through the list. I don't think everybody's here today. My name's Mark Stanfield, and Ben and Donna came to me and said, "Hey, would you want to be a project coordinator for a really old airplane?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't know. I know how to fly planes, but I don't know anything about building them or anything." And so I signed up not exactly knowing what I was getting into, but I'm not afraid to send a bunch of emails, get people together, and get donations rolling. So I would like to start with Bob Ahlstrom. Step forward, Bob. Bob built the fuel tanks. Paul Antunes. Bill Avivo. Where's Bill? He's around here. He works pretty hard on that engine. Pat Ayers, I don't think he's here today. Bruce Bassett, Craig Bassett, John Borchers, Howard Briggs. There we got one. Rob Coatney, Amit Dagan, I don't think Amit's here today. Terry Dameron, Doug Davey. Yeah. Ben Davidson. Ben's our chief pilot and the director of this event. Pete Downs, Dan Evans. Dan's actually built a smaller 1/3 scale of this before, and he's also got a big blog going for us. Eric Jensen. I don't think Eric's here, but Eric painted the rudder. Mark Johnson. Clyde Kirby. Casey Lee. Kelly Lively. Bob Madsen. Bob's not with us, but he did the seat. David Margolis. Jacona Bell. Jay's kind of been our lead, I don't know what you call him, lead A&P on this. We'll have him talk in a little bit. Larry McCollum. Tom Murphy. Harold Nelson. He's back here. Tim O'Donnell. Steve Ryan. Ted Stanfield, Mike Stubbs, Don Summers, Felix Tomlinson, Ron Wilkins, and Dale Young. And then sitting on the seat is Torrance Parker. This is Billy Parker's son. I don't know if my cord can stretch over there. I'd like Torrance to say a couple of words. Are you able to... I could tell you about the plane, but I think he could do a much better job of it.
Yeah, I am to be here with all you. Real honor for me. Just great. I'm so proud. These guys did a marvelous job. And this little story, if I have just a minute to talk about one of the people here who probably typically all the crew members did this work, a fellow by the name of Tim O'Donnell, who was a buddy of my son.
What did jail look like?
And they both went to the Vallejo Maritime College years ago. And son Tim became the chief engineer on oil tankers, and he's still sailing oil tankers, but he loves airplanes, and he flies airplanes. He's a fighter, he has a station here. And years ago, when he went to college, he saw a lathe that I had in my my hangar. I used to fly out of Torrance Airport. And he wanted that lathe, and it was my father's lathe that he had had back in the 30s and 40s in his garage. And of course, Tim wound up with it after my father had died. And I left there, sold my airplane. Well, it all comes back because when Tim used his lathe in San Diego, he used to live there, and then he moved up just across the river and heard about this project and got involved in it, and they needed parts machined for the engine. So how did he do it? With my dad's old lathe. So it all comes back. And the only other thing I can say about this is that I asked my father one time, I said, "Dad, what was your favorite airplane?" He says, "Oh, I didn't have any." He says, "I liked them all. They all flew pretty much the same." And then I said, "Well, what was your favorite era during your career?" And he didn't hesitate. He says, "The pusher days." And then, of course, that would have been prior to World War I when there were a few pilots. And they did exhibition flying. These airplanes were designed to take off in a very short field off racetracks and unimproved pastures and things like that. And they gave exhibitions with them. And he loved that work. And he loved the pushers. He kept flying the pushers until he retired from flying. It's an honor for me to be here, and thank you very much.
If anyone has any certain questions they'd like to ask, go ahead and make your way up, and we can ask Torrance Parker about the plane.